TradeFly. Yeah. We don't talk, we move. TradeFly. Yeah. I came with a plan and a paper trail. Turn a late night thought into a full-scale sale. Eyes on the lane, I don't chase no smoke. Every step I take got a brand new scope. Built from the ground that the ceiling shakes. Count wins daily, that's the way I trade. I'm one of the best, yeah, the work says it. No lie, my flex, let the results get vivid. TradeFly, TradeFly, make it fly. Bid it up, bid it up, bid it up. Reach the sky. TradeFly, TradeFly, move that way. Every day, every day, every day, every day. Level up today. Ideas to the real, watch them multiply. TradeFly, stamp that name, legacy mode on. We don't play that game. TradeFly, make it fly. TradeFly, yeah, we next.
What is going on, fam? Welcome back to another episode. My name is TradeFly, bringing some of the most important market news as well as technical analysis that you can actually use. And we got two key levels we're going to look at today. We're going to keep it quick and in a hurry for today's show. I'll try to speed this up a little bit, but if there is any trades on the table, we will take those during the show, but it's got to be a quick hitter. So we'll be looking for that. Stay tuned. I'm going to give some shout outs to everybody in the chat. We got my man, Jesse Galuk in here. What up to you, bro? Thank you for being here. Much, much love to you. We got B Team Crypto. And of course, we got my man, username, who's, you know what? You were 2 minutes late. I'm just saying. Anyways, let's go over to the total market cap. That is sitting at 2.17 trillion. That is down 1.88% over the last 24 hours. Fear and greed index is down since yesterday. That is at 20. That is at the fear level. Bitcoin at 62,920. So it is down 1.89% over the last 24 hours. Ethereum is at 1706, and that is down 1.64%. Bitcoin dominance 58.1%. So that is actually down as well. Let's look at the bubbles. Let's see who's getting shot to the moon. It looks like Lab is off, man, 36.2%. Hash is up 22.6%. AVAX, hate to see that, down 6.2%. Astra's down 9.7%. What else we got? Lit is getting lit up at 6.9% to the negative. VVV, that is Venice token, at 8.2%. Let's see if there's any other big movers. Not really, not too much, man. Lab and Hash, those are kind of your big movers today. I do like seeing what's kind of divergent from the market, so I guess of note, they are moving in a positive direction. I don't know too much about those projects, but if you are looking to trade things, sometimes you look at those ones that are kind of running away from the pack. All right, let's go over to the liquidation heat map. Like I said, this one's going to come fast in a hurry, and Pac-Man was hungry today. It was eating up the liquidity. That was sitting at about 63, about 63.2 is kind of where the hot spot on the map was. And man, we chewed right through that. We are coming back up now and kind of retesting that level of 63,000. So just underneath where that hot spot was, but you can see some liquidity starting to stack up. So these people have not been beaten into submission yet. And we got some passive orders to look at on the books. We'll get there in a minute, but you can see up around 66,000 liquidity is starting to stack. You got one little hot spot there at about 64,850, but really the bulk of your liquidity is sitting at about 66, we'll call it 400. So we're going to mark that on the charts. Let's go over to the charts right now and start marking them up here. Let's turn this one off. We said 66, right? 66.4, I believe. There you go. Let's come on back here. 66.8. Let's bring it down just a little bit. And there you go. So close enough for government work. 411. Let's go ahead and lock that in. Nope, wrong one. There it is. So we're going to lock that in. 66.4. And then, of course, you're going to have some liquidity down here as well. If you want to play the game nicely, we'll see. Maybe it does. Maybe it doesn't. All right, looking at this wick here, I'm going to look right here below this swing low here. All right, so maybe not necessarily swing low, but below the support right here that's kind of fallen within this order block, and then you have this high volume node. All right, so 60,590 is of interest to me for a multitude of reasons. From a technical perspective, again, order block, you got the value area or the high volume node, and then of course where you saw this area of support. So pretty much guarantee there's going to be liquidity sitting down there without actually looking at the liquidation heat map. Here nor there, we're going to go ahead and mark it, and let's go ahead and look at the order book. Now, I said 2 key levels. Here is one of them. All right, 62K. 62K. Why is that a key level to me? Look at this, man. You got stacked passive orders, right? So you have buys that are sitting on the books right now, and they're kind of laddered in. So you have 1, 2, 3 positions there, all over 1,000 Bitcoin a piece. So all in all, 3,000 Bitcoin, waiting to be bought. All we got to go down is to anywhere between 62 to 61.5, and all 3 of those positions are going to get filled. All right. So now they could take them off the books, but I would say a lot less likely if you're worried about ghosting or them just taking them off real quick. Less likely when you see them stay on for a little while like this, and when you see them laddered. Usually, that's more of an institutional way to get into a position. Not saying it is an institution, not saying it's big money, because a lot of those bigger companies, they're going to do over the OTC anyways, right? So here nor there, it is an institutional mindset of a way of getting into a position. Let's go ahead and get rid of the bubbles and that. There we go. So that's an area that I'm going to be very, very interested in. Let's actually go back. Where did I mark it? I said 60,500. You know what? Just knowing where the passive orders are, we might adjust this just a bit here. What do we say? About 62 is where, because the thing is, like, understanding, yeah, okay, this might not be where the bulk of the liquidity is. I know typically I use the green to kind of label that, but I want to get an alert, because if we start coming down here, that's right below this area of support as well. If we come down here, you got a high volume node, you got the value area low of the previous range, and then you have all of those passive orders that are going to get filled. That's a nice technical area to see a bounce. The high volume node is at 61.8. The value area low, the previous range, is at 61.7. So understanding that, I'm going to go ahead and set an alert. There you go. All right, so I'm going to get an alert if we go down there. I'm going to be definitely interested and looking for a potential long position out of that area. But again, what do we have to do? You guys know the drill. We'll come over to the order book, and we're going to look at CBD and open interest. Okay, so open interest right now in the 15 minutes, kind of going horizontal. Nothing too crazy, right? You're not going to take too much away from that when it goes horizontal. You could be seeing a little bit of absorption at this time. But ultimately, what we like to see, the better of the two things that we would like to see, is when we come down and get these orders filled, is that we start seeing CBD trend up, and we start seeing open interest trend up. If we can get that, I call that the trifecta. Let's go ahead and mark that. So what you're going to see there, then we would like to see the price action come down here, and then we would be looking for, I don't know why I did a trend line. I swore that I clicked. Let's do Ray. No, Ray is only going to be 1. Trend line is, so it's not, I guess, not what I'm thinking. This is bananas. Kayataka, you guys need to figure this out, man. It's probably user error, but still. There we go. That's the one I want. I would look for something like that. Coming down to this area, that's where I'm going to get interested. Like I said, there's some technicals that line up. Here's what you want to see with CBD, open interest. And then, just looking at this right here, I think that looks like a good level to see a potential bounce. However, that being said, a little bit sketchy, right? Right now, you're not really forming a range. You're just kind of going down. You have held your ground a little bit here at about, 62.2. You've held your ground a bit, which is good, but like that's your first real sign of kind of on your ground, since we've kind of made our way down from interacting with this trend line, right? So we did talk about that trend line yesterday, and I believe last Thursday when we went live with my guest, Not a Works. Did you guys use that code, by the way? I believe he gave us a code, 30 days on TradeSafeAI.io. I'll put the code in there, but you guys can get 30 days. I'll put that in right now. TradeSafeAI. That's the code. And that's going to be on TradeSafeAI.io. So there you go. I believe you'll get 30 days free on his website. So it's a trading platform and not an exchange, but like a platform to help you and teach you how to trade. I haven't really fully dived in yet, but you guys should check it out. Why not? Support the homie. Came on the channel. All right. So that's going to be the first area that we're looking at. About 62, 2 is where, I'm setting my alert. And then about 62 is where I'm going to be looking at, potentially a position there. It just kind of depends on how it interacts with that level. Of course, if you see an impulse move through, right, you see this big candle, this pink candle right here. All right, that's going to tell you if you see that going through that zone, that's probably where you want to stay away from it. But if you do see a wick, something more like this, see this blue one down here, if you see a little wick down like that, that would be a little bit more intriguing. So that's kind of what I would be looking for down there. Z-score is starting to work its way up here on the 4 hour at least, right? This is showing you that it's actually oversold at this point. So, it could open up the door on the 4 hour for a reversal, according to the Z-score. But let's see here. Where was our other level? It's going to be right here. All right, so high volume node. You got the trend line continuing to work down, right? So if you were to take a long position, one of the things I would caution you of is trying to fight this trend right now, right? Very distinct, clear trend, especially around the 4 hour. You can see it, multiple interactions with that trend line. If I'm taking a long, I'm not fighting it. However, that being said, when we interact with it, could open it up for a quick short, right? A quick, maybe I'd say a scalp to potentially maybe intraday. And so something like that, you got this high volume node right here. What are you doing? You're protecting yourself. If it breaks over that trend line, it's probably nosy-gozies. But, you give yourself a little bit of a buffer here. Let's see if a 2-to-1 is even feasible. Yeah, I think it is. So you got this high volume node, and it's not much, but that's kind of where this volume starts. But really, value area high, that's an area that I'd be looking for. So maybe bring this down just a little bit here. That'll give you the 2-to-1. If that's the way you like to get into a position. Typically for me, I kind of pay less attention to things that I can't really get a 2-to-1 out of. That's one of those things where it just kind of helps you, with risk management, and then you don't have to win every single trade, right? So if you win the majority of them, all Gucci. Now, this is going to adjust, understanding that, right? Like, where's the wick? How does that populate? That can actually have a big, play in whether you're getting a 2-to-1, 3-to-1. I'm just kind of being conservative. And I'm like, okay, where's a 2-to-1 get me? Or where does that take me? And, that lets it come all the way up to about 66.5. I would be honest with you, I realistically probably wouldn't even let it go that far if I were looking at taking a short off of a trend line. All right, typically not my jam, especially when you got this liquidity right here. So may have to actually leave that on now that I'm kind of looking at it a little bit more, right? Because you want to dip your toes into the liquidity. You want to take most of what's up there. You may actually have to let that play out a little bit. Let that wick push up. So it's not one of those things where, so just so you understand, if you're looking at taking a position here and you're using a trend line, you're not taking it right off of the trend line. Okay. So please don't do that. Don't be like, hey, there's a high volume node. Obviously I can't give you financial advice, but for me, I would not take it off directly off the trend line. Right? I'm going to let it push through a little bit. I'm going to let it wick, back down. And then I'm going to get my confirmation by going over to the order flow and looking at the CBD and open interest. It's going to be telling you a different story there. You want it to tell you a different story if you're looking at taking a position. One of the things that would help you a little bit is, you do have the DOM, right? So understanding where some of these orders are relative to the price action. Let's see here. And then for CBD and open interest, all right, what you're likely to see as the price action is working its way up, understanding, hey, like we're kind of, where do we put that at? So 65, 650. All right, let's go back. So 65, 650 or around, let's just say 65, right? So price action is going. At that point, you're going to have some higher highs and higher lows. You're actually going to break this horizontal here. You're likely to see CBD working its way up as it's approaching that area. That's the likely scenario. And then the open interest, you're likely to see that working up, right? You're probably at that point seeing that trifecta I typically talk about. However, once you get up to that level, what you we'll then be looking for is first open interest is either going to go horizontal or it's going to start to work its way down, right? As people are exiting those positions. And then you're looking for CBD to flip as well, right? You're looking for that CBD to start working its way down. And then ultimately, what you would like to see as probably the best of the confirmations is that then market participation, starts coming in, right? You get more participants. And that means that open interest will start to go up. As open interest is going up and CBD is going down, that's kind of the setup you'll be looking for in that area. Let me tell you what I don't like right now is that like there is no passive orders on the books whatsoever in that area. So that does make me feel a little less comfortable about looking at that level. Like this one is better. Usually a pretty good starting point. One, do you have any liquidity? Yes, we know we have liquidity. Are passive orders sitting on the books? Yes. Yes, they are. Right. So that makes me feel a little bit better about the potential for seeing a reversal if you're trying to take that kind of play. So, again, I would say I'd feel less confident at this point about the one that's around 65, just to let you know. So what does that mean? Execute risk management. If you're executing risk management, that means you might use a little bit less, right? You're not going to, balls to the wall, put everything in it, 100% of your portfolio. Don't ever do craziness like that. So you may scale it down a little bit, just understanding that, hey, we haven't really met all of the wickets. Okay. So not saying it's a bad setup, but you are heavily relying on some of the technicals more so than some of the liquidity that is on the table here. So, just something to point out to you guys, just so you understand that. Let's go over the chat real quick. I see some homies jumping in here. Oh, here we go. True story. Why is it that we're always hitting the bars username? What do you take me for, bro? What do you take me for? Let's see. Darren does things. What up to you, man? I'll be back in 2x5 in a bit. Need a coffee. My man. Hope all is well with you, brother. Thank you for stopping by. We got JR in here. What up to you, dude? Good to see you. Thanks for being here. We're going to get JR on the show. I just reached out to him on Discord, but he says he's busy for a little bit, but we're going to get him on. We're going to get him on, man. Hope all is well with you as well. Thank you for being here. B Team Crypto, my homie. What up to you? We got Melissa in the chat. What up, lady? Good to see you. Hope all is well with you. And then, of course, my dude, none other than Alex O Crypto. My dude. Thank you for being here, man. Tell the family I said what's up. Hope all is well with you guys. Much, much love to you, man. It's much, much appreciated. Let's give me some shout outs yesterday, man. Trying to push people over to the Discord. Curbstar, what up to you? Thanks for dropping by. It's a bird, it's a plane, it's TradeFly time. Let's go. All right. So, let's get back at it. Let's get back at it. Let's go over to the charts here. Like I said, this one I feel less comfortable with. I do like this one down here around 62 to 61.5 a little bit more. We got Erica in the chat. Hey, how you doing, lady? Good to see you. Let's look at the USDT dominance. USDT dominance. So we were talking about this area the other day being in an area of, perceived resistance for USDT dominance. And right now it looks like potentially setting a lower high. Hopefully we're developing a trend to the downside. What does that mean for Bitcoin? Inverse relationship, right? So what we should be looking for here, even if we were to push up, man, that's kind of tough, right? Because you want to push up to be able to push down to that level. But you do have an order block here for Bitcoin. And when I say here, talking about 62 USDT dominance, you do have an order block right there at about 8.869. So if you do get that push up in correlation with Bitcoin pushing up, one may not necessarily go all the way up, but that's an area that you're going to start kind of paying attention to, right? Because you could potentially see a rejection out of that level, and that would align with Bitcoin right here. So this is not me saying that it's going to go down, okay? This is me saying that if it goes to this level, I like this level because there is confluence and things that are starting to line up in that area at about 61.5 to about 62K. So I like that. So sit on your hands. That's what I'm doing. Just kind of wait, let it come to you, and then make a decision once it gets there. But USDT dominance seems to be aligning in terms of where we could see resistance and where we get resistance for USDT dominance, and then support for Bitcoin. Let's see. To the contrary. To the contrary. Just kind of looking to see where you can find some support. Unfortunately, you got a few things that are starting to align here for USDT dominance. Obviously, high volume node, you got the weekly pivot, and really the bottom of that horizontal. And you have the 55 SMA. You got VWAP moving up. So you got a lot underneath of you right now that could act as support for dominance. But you do get a gap right here. So if you can break through all of this, I think you're going to get a pretty robust move for Bitcoin. What does that look like for Bitcoin? That might be enough to, get you right back up to this trend line. Man, that's tough. I don't know that I would necessarily mess with that trend line though. Let's look at this. I haven't put a box on it yet. Let's put it, what do we say, 60. Let's put it right at the value area low. I don't know that I'm really going to mess with going past this volume right here. See how it's the high volume node here, and you got the POC of the previous range. So really, again, has a lot to do with the wick. But that would take liquidity. That would be a really tight stop. I think you can give yourself at least 1% there. Give yourself at least 1%. That's a 2.7. Again, I like that one better. I do like this one better. I think this one I'm going to take a picture of. And I'll drop that in the Discords. Let's look here. Let's get a picture of this one as well. Let me zoom out a little bit on the heat map. Let's see if we can, so that would clear out most of what's left, right? So that's why I say sometimes when you take all of this off, like they're pretty much beaten into submission. When they're beaten into submission, nobody wants to play anymore. And that's a perfect time for a reversal. Let's go ahead and take a picture of that. Cool. So I'll drop all those in the Discords. Let's see here. Did I say what's up to Wick's wife? I think I read it, but I don't think I said what's up to you. What's up, lady? Hope all is well with you. All the fan banning and chat. Love seeing it. Love seeing it. All right. So that's a couple things I'm looking at for Bitcoin. Let's move it on over to ETH. See what you got going on. High volume node, shoes right there, weekly pivot. I mean, you got a good opportunity for some support there for ETH. This was, I think, a horizontal we were looking at a while ago. Let's zoom out a little bit. Oh yeah. So you got a nice little demand zone there. Got some liquidity down here. And you got some volume. Username knows how much I love ETH. I don't think we need this on there anymore. Don't need that anymore. Don't need that. Man, hanging on by a thread there, ETH. Hanging on by a thread. At least you do have some volume there. So obviously Bitcoin's going to be daddy, but might not be a bad spot for Ethereum. If Bitcoin can hang on, may not be a bad spot. That's crazy though. What are we off the highs for Ethereum? 70%. And the highs here. So that was 81%. So you're 10% away from your bear market pullback from 21 to 22. So Bitcoin is looking better in terms of just raw percentages. Obviously, we barely set a new high for Ethereum. So, but all that said, we are in an area that you would theoretically see some support. You would think you see some support. I wouldn't be surprised to see a range develop below here. So this previous range right here, I wouldn't be surprised to see it range in this area at all for Ethereum. I don't know. Right there, that's kind of where all the volume is. Anywhere in there. That's one of those things I kind of wait on Bitcoin. All right. Apple came back into the channel. Talked about that a little bit. Remember? Talked about breaking out of the channel. Look. Looky. What'd I say? 0.382. That's an area to look for. That was at 289. We're at 297 now for Apple. So if you guys are into stocks or trading the stocks, that was the play right there. We'll take that off. Right back up to the channel. I probably wouldn't really try to press that channel, honestly. That would be good enough for government work for me. That's a 5% move, 4%. Call it a 4% move. So your next level, if you're looking at that, let's see how some of these horizontals align. 0.5 doesn't look bad. So if you were to lose the 0.382, this is an if. Not saying it's going there. It's very much an if. If you lose the 0.382, I think the point right around the 0.5 at about 277 to 280, nice little spot where you probably see a bounce. It'll probably look very similar. Right? Nothing straight. Nothing is straight down. Well, I won't say nothing. I'll say I've seen stranger stuff. But if you, and that's kind of how I like to play the game. I like to live within these little ranges. I don't like to really fight the trend. I don't like to really fight the resistance in this case. So you're looking at something like 2.8%. Obviously, you're going to have to find a way, whether it's options or if you trade it with leverage on one of the exchanges. That's, for me, that's the only way it's going to be worth my time. So that's sitting at about 277 to about 280 for Apple. Let me see. MicroStrategies, I heard, was getting its ass kicked today. Yup. Well, that looks like poop. I mean, you're getting to a critical level. That's a critical level, man. You can see liquidity is highlighted there thanks to my indicator. But, man, if it doesn't hold, look at the volume you have right here. It's a gap. So see this one down here? That's where you're headed. If you lose this level here. So somewhere around about 100. Man, that's a solid round number too. That is a solid round number. Is that retest? No, 92 is retesting the highs there. I don't know, $100 is probably psychological, man. I think there's probably going to be people that jump in on that just because it's $100. Golly, man. I mean, you're down from over $400 in less than a year. That is crazy. 75%, man. Trash. All right. NVIDIA looks way better. Let's get rid of all this. No, I kind of like that. Again, this is one of those ones. I'm not saying it's going to go here, but if it does, retesting the top of the range, just weak technicals. I mean, top of the range, 618, 200 SMA on the daily, and you start getting your volume coming in here as well. So, anywhere from 188 to 191 looks like a good spot to see a bounce for NVIDIA. That might not be bad. That may not be bad. Let me get rid of some of this stuff. Can you take a look at Injective? Yeah, man, for sure. Andrea, what's up? The Golden God is blessing us with his presence. Username. A blast from the past. Yeah, no doubt, man. It's good to see him. All right, let's look at Injective. Oh, I mean, username was gone, bro. Like I actually like reached out to him. I was kind of worried about him. If you don't think I care about my people, I do. I do. All right. All right. There's Injective. Man. So you came right up to a pretty key level. You can see where the volume is. All right. So I had this line kind of annotated as an area that I would have liked to see a bounce. Right. And that just kind of goes back to the historicals. All right. Support. What you don't like is seeing this push through and then retesting it on the downside. Not ideal, right? Not ideal. Pushing back up to see resistance, right? But you did break it. Granted, you are under it right now, but you are over the 200. You're over the 55. Obviously, on the daily, this volume, this high volume node, and this order block is really what acted as resistance. So, it doesn't scare me where it's at. I mean, obviously, it looks bad. Let's get that out of the way right now. Overall, it does look bad. Very distinct. Lower highs, lower lows. You're starting to get that curve though. All right, a little bit different. You're getting a little bit of a curve. You're getting over the 200. You would like to see it push back over the 6.2, right? Because this is where it's lived before. So over 6.2 makes you feel a lot better. You're probably going to get a little bit of I would say a little bit of a range right in here. But if you push through, if you can get through this order block, even though, yeah, you see some price action in here, but look, there's not as much volume. The volume doesn't start picking back up until you get up here at about 15.8. Now, I'm not saying it's going to just take off and go to the moon, right? You still got a yearly pivot. You got all kinds of stuff to worry about. But, if I was looking at taking a long, I would probably like to see it establish above 6.2. And then you just cover your ass with maybe 6 or something other, maybe the monthly pivot 5.5. Just kind of depends on if it's something you want to hold. Kind of up to you. But if you got anywhere down here, I mean, shit, you're 2x at this point. Shit, 3x almost. You got in down here. I want a white hat. Every day, Curve Stars beat me up about that white hat, man. I gotta work on it. Yeah, 6.289 though, that's kind of for me, like at a minimum, I want to be over that. I think you're going to see a little bit of range in there. And push up. I'm not saying this is what's going to play out. So don't. But, getting over 6.289, 6.2, that makes me feel a lot better about seeing a little bit of continuation to the upside. And I mean, the problem right now is like just looking, like when you zoom out and look at it, this is kind of where it gets weird. I'll kind of take that out of it. It's kind of tough. I don't know. There is an argument. it's it's breaking out. I guess there's an argument there. Still Fibonacci retracement off the high here. Let's go high to low. Nah, 0.382 is way too far up there. That's not going to help you much. Let's take it from this high. Oh, look at that. So off of this high here, you went right to the 0.382. So if you're looking at the 0.382, you know, from, let's say it's trending to the upside, usually bullish continuation or continuation. 0.382 is a continuation level. That's where you reject it. So adding a little confluence to this high volume node, I mean, it's almost spot on. I don't know. It's got there's hope there, we'll say. But I wouldn't feel comfy, and like I said, until I get over, we'll just call it 6.3. Injective is definitely more institutional grade. They should probably do well over the next year. Well, she's the lady. Andrea, she's pretty smart with all the fundamentals. Check her out in the Discord. She's under Pumpamentals. So if the Pumpamentals are aligning, the technicals are close. It's almost there, looking like it's trying to break out. Not quite there. Yeah. Let's go down here. Let's look at a Trend Reaper. Look at this. So look at the Trend Reaper. Look at the consecutive higher lows here. That's something to take note of. See how that's trending to the upside, right? Pressures to the upside. And really, even when it was working its way down, that was kind of your first good indication as it was kind of working its way down and going horizontal. Look at this. All the way to even here, right? Look at how price was going down and went horizontal, yet the trend was working its way up. Still working its way up for right now. For now. Let's look at Ondo. Somewhat similar. Had a nice push up there. I think there was some news based, there was some news stuff going on with Ondo that kind of drove this up to 50 cent. What all we got going on here? And look at how all the pivots are overlaying with each other. Monthly, weekly, 55, 200, 618. You got a lot of support underneath of you for Ondo right now. If Bitcoin can hold, I think this is a decent spot. Probably a decent spot for Ondo. But I mean, it looks bad too. Just like Injective. Looks very similar. But it's over the 200, it's over the 55. So it's putting some of the support, the technicals, it's putting underneath of it in terms of the price action. Kind of same deal here. Seeing that trend. The lows, see how they're kind of going up, right? So building pressure. This was it though, man. You could see, look, all the way down and then straight freaking horizontal. What is that? It's typically accumulation, right? This is where the people step in and be like, enough is enough. This is where we're interested in accumulating. True story. TradeFly has spoken to me. It was a clever trap. Touche. Your trip, man. TradeFly daddy is Rob? I don't think so, man. I don't think so. B Team sending 1 gift membership. Thanks, man. Oh, look who got it. Look who got it.
The cream of the crop. Nobody does it better.
All right. Let's get some music going. What time is it? 3:41, so about 20 minutes or so. Let's start scanning the charts here. Let's see if we got anything we can trade. See if any scalp opportunities are out there. Let's go 3 minutes. We already took a picture of that. We'll get rid of it. Hype. Probably looks like the others. All right, let's we'll look at hype real quick. I want to keep an eye on this though. We're coming down to a high volume node for Bitcoin order block. Let's see. Let's put a quick little fib on this real quick. And right in the platinum pocket as well. CVD open interest, though not looking great. All right, let's get some music. Get some music. Just let me know if that's too loud. Or if it is too loud. Taking a look at hype real quick. Do I not have hype on there? I do. Down at the bottom. Started from the bottom, now I'm here. There you go. So hype, not, so it doesn't quite look like the others. Oh, this is on the 3 minute though. Hold on. Before I bash it. Okay. Sorry. Hype looks significantly better. This is on Binance though. Hyperliquid should have like its own thing though, right? Is this? Oh no, this isn't. Is this? This isn't Hyperliquid, is it? It is. Hold up. Hold up. Like it should have its own thing. It's Hyperliquid. Let's go to. Okay. I would be looking at this area right here. So if you're looking at Hyperliquid right now, obviously you're meeting some resistance, high volume node coming back left on the chart. That was your high. Looks like you set a new high here, but still that's where you got rejected. You got your weekly, monthly pivot all aligning right here with a high volume node as well as a 50 SMA kind of working its way up. That's not a hard one to see right there. And you got the 618. and 0.786. So all kind of in that zone there, you know, somewhere between 14.8 to about 15.52. Not a huge spread between the golden pocket and the platinum pocket. That's an area I would look for a bounce. Not going to push that though, personally. So if you take a position, if it's something you're holding, that's a good area to probably add to your bags. If you're just trying to trade, that's an area that I would be looking at exiting somewhere around 18.4, maybe a little lower, maybe 18 just to be conservative. What does that look like in terms of if we take the conservative play from the 618 up to 18? That is a 14% move. Nobody's going to be mad at TradeFly for that. Let's see. And you can get yourself a 2-to-1. You can. This is all going to be subject to kind of where the price action comes down to, though. All right. So if you go down here, you know, if the wick is down here, it's obviously you're going to have to let that play out a little bit. But right now, it looks bullish, looks good. I mean, pretty gnarly little pullback right there. But yeah, somewhere around, you know, 14.5 to about 15 looks like an area I would be interested personally. So this bounce right here, I'm interested to see where it was at on the fib. Man, 618 with the 55 SMA right there. So that's pretty much what this trend is, this trend line right here. I gotta come up with a name with it. 55 SMA is just not as fun. When you're not winning trades, does anyone warn you your fly is down? Girl, you're silly. Oh, that ain't Wick's wife. That's Wick. What up, Wick? What you doing, man? Why? Was my fly down when we met? I wouldn't be surprised. Hope all is well, man. Good to see you. Oh, yeah, but that one, man, look at this right here. You had high volume, 618, 55. That's a, wish I was watching it. Nice little area for a bounce. But yeah, so similar, right? Similar thing that you're going to be looking for right here. Same kind of confluence. 55 SMA working its way up. All right, you got a couple technicals aligning right there. 618, you got weekly, the monthly, high volume. You got the maybe the 0.786 if it does continue to push down a little bit, but you know, I would say all based on, hey, where's the moving average at? High volume node is right there at 0.786 as well. So that's definitely a spot. That is definitely a spot that I would be looking at. In terms of saying where it's going to go, I don't do that. You guys can do a fib extension if you want, but it's obviously when things get into price discovery mode, you got to be careful. Oh. Thank you, Andrea. Thank you, Wick. And Wick's wife. Thank you as well. You guys are awesome. I appreciate you. All the super chats. You guys are awesome. Thank you. Did TradeFly just say he gave a mouthful? No. Our flies were all down. We just didn't know it. Oh, trust me. I mean, I would know. Username, you're killing me, man. Walk up to the party like. Just saying. TradeFly's fly. All right. Let's get back to this. Got about 10 minutes. See if there's any scalps out there. Getting down to order block right now on the daily. Let's go to the 5 minute. Let's go 3 minute. Nice little bounce. But still within the structure right now. This indicator works best on the 5 minute. Mo better. So it looks like it's trying to fill a fair value gap. Moving average here looks like it's acting as resistance right now. Its price action is kind of working its way down. You got an order block and a high volume node, 62.865. Press up to that. Let's see. Might be able to take a scalp off of that. Let me see what the let's see what we got going on here. CBD is working its way down. Open interest still kind of working its way down. Problem is passive orders. So 60 to 8. You don't really have any, you don't have much on the book there. That one's going to be tough. It's actually a pretty nice little horizontal to see a bounce, honestly. Like if you're just doing, just looking at price action, looking at technicals. I guess just price action, really. Just looking at the candles. See a nice little horizontal right there where you got this little bounce. But that's if you were just looking at that by itself. So one of the things I like to look at, obviously, is CBD open interest. If you were coming down and having that retest there of that horizontal, CBD was working its way up, open interest was working its way up, might be more inclined to take a position off of that. But right now, look at this. Look at that trend. That's pretty clear on the 15-minute. Let's look at the 5. Yeah, there's just nothing in terms of orders. I might be interested in maybe potentially taking a short off of this right here. See if that happens in the next 10 minutes. Come on, Betty. Need you to move. Oh, Jesse, thank you. I appreciate it, man. Thank you for all the super chat, guys. I appreciate it. That'll cover the shipping for Jesse's hat. I had to send Jesse's hat to the Netherlands, man. That literally cost as much as the hat. It was hilarious. But totally worth it, man. Jesse's OG, man. He's been here for a while. Of course, Bitcoin just chilling, not doing anything fun. Come on. Give me a little something, man. Little something. I mean, you're like right there. What do you guys think? Should we have a little fun? Let's have a little fun. I won't go high capital. Let's go 50. Let's go 50. We're just going to have a Degen play. Not typically how I do things, but We'll take all the money you guys gave me in super chats and blow it. Just full send this thing. So I'm literally just gonna put the stop loss right over it. That's not bad. We can risk that. 11 bucks. We can risk that. It's not really exciting though, is it? Put that a little tighter. There you go. It's like a 1-to-1. For the funsies. Last time someone had fun, JR couldn't walk for a week. You ever seen a white chick? I know you have. Put you in a wheelchair for a week. Nightcap was fun. We love FD. Man, I love FD too. I still talk to him. We still talk, man. He's good peoples. You've been there since Nightcap? I thought, gosh, man, Jesse, I thought you've been around. You weren't there when I was on Piper Academy? I'm not sure you were there when I was on Piper Academy for some reason. We're a legit credit union. I can't even keep up with the chat now. Alexandra, what's up, lady? Good to see you. Is anyone on Twitch? Nope. I'm not. I gotta start posting some shorts, though. Been talking to one of the homies in the Discord. He's talking about posting some shorts for me. Oop. There it go. There it go. Oh, he does Twitch unless you're 5. Yeah, I don't know, man. I never actually got into Twitch. Let's look at the minute. Let's see what CVD's doing. That is janky, but it's only horizontal. Only horizontal. Look at the dom here. It's kind of tough, man. Because your asks are kind of stacked, and then your bids are kind of stacked as well. What I don't like is that little ascending level of support right there. I want to see that break. Tighten this up. I mean, honestly, if this breaks, it's probably cooked anyways. There you go. There you go. Dump it. We'll see. Doesn't mean much. Still got this trend line. It's just on the top side of it. See if it actually holds its support. You also got this horizontal that could act as a support. So you got a little confluence there. Mark Dutch in the house. What up, man? All right, Biddy. Stop acting shitty. Go down the TP. So again, you got a few things that potentially hold up as a resistance here. I might have got in a little premature. Sorry, username loves to hear that. 62.8. We see the let's adjust that real quick. Oh, I'm at 62.874. Let me see. That's because this is yep. So that just stopped on that push. Heard it. Poof. So that trend, so a little breakout retest of the trend line there. Held up. Now she's pushing. Womp womp womp. I think it was only $5. No big deal. Might have been less than that. Wasn't a high conviction play, obviously. Let's see. Let's see on the minute, CVD. It's starting to actually look like it's trending up. Open interest starting to trend up a little bit as well. That's true. Dutchie his nickname. Dutchie. Spill it. Spill it, Dutchie. Wickmeister. Oh my god. Something wrong with y'all. What do you guys think? Watch me blow more of your super chat money. CVD's going up, open interest going up. Price action going up. The problem is straight into resistance. Hey, you Bama. Of course. Gotta stay with the trend, man. Don't fight the trend. I think I was a little too aggressive with the stop loss there. Put it right over here. Would have left it where it was at. Be fine. All good. Womp, womp, womp. I don't know though, man. Like, I think you can... I think at this point, it would just be trading the trade just for funsies. It doesn't... I mean, throwing around $10 is not a big deal, but... Bad habits. Teaching bad habits. Doing bad things. Not being smart. There's not much really telling me to take a trade right now. Like for realsies. Like if I had something like this where I had, you know, some sort of passive orders or something down here, you know, taking a play potentially down, just thinking it's going to come down here, something, you know, potentially can leave on the table like overnight. Could probably do that just because you are starting to trend to the downside. But I mean, CVD ultimately is trending to the downside. It's just if you go to lower time frames and you're looking at it on a very, you know, zoomed in or a lower time frame, at least your open interest is going horizontal. Yeah, it's... I'm just trading a trade, which is dumb. That's why I'm only using like $10, but this is, again, this is where we're going to be looking. If you guys tuned in late, down here at about 62,000, that's an area that, you know, there's probably going to be a little bit more conviction behind that. Again, you know, looking at open interest in CBD for your confirmation, once we interact with that level, that's kind of the smart thing to do. So, look at it go. Of course. I had the right play. I was just being dumb with the stop loss and making it tighter. That's kind of come back to bite me a couple times the past like couple weeks where I mess with the stop loss, and when I mess with it, it stops me out. All good. Trade Libra. They got rid of it, man. Coin was so trash, they took it off the exchanges. Tighter is not always better. Depends on the context. Depends on the context. Soul? I can look at Soul real quick, man. And then I'm gonna get out of here because this is silly. Maybe I should just go live when we get near these levels. Like, if I'm around a computer, I mean, I think that's where like, what's his name? Crypto Face. I feel like he just kind of waits, man. Like, and then once it gets near his levels, or he sees what he wants to see on his indicator on Market Cipher, then he goes live. It's not like a rigid time frame. Let's see here. Let's look at Soul. I haven't looked at Soul in a minute, man, so we'll be doing this live. Let's trade Rave. That's the new Libra. Well, you didn't get that, did you? Broke that trend line. It was dumps. Dumps and doos. Get rid of that. So really all I did is just retest the lows of the range. And on the 4 hour, you have the 200 SMA. That being said, for Solana, it looks like you are getting to an area of support. You got the weekly, you got an order block, you got a high volume node, and you have the top of this little range here. Theoretically, expectation would be to see some support where it's at, about 68, 68 and a half. Would not be surprised to see a range develop here. So that is, I say where this volume is. So 74 to 75 and a half. Got the 200 working its way down on the 4 hour. That's probably going to add as a resistance as well. So, but yeah, man, I mean, where you're at for Solana, not a bad spot. What do we got here? Oh, you're in the platinum pocket. Yep. This looks like a macro fib. Let me pull out the daily. Yep. That's from bear market low to the high for the cycle. You're right in the, I mean, you're above the 0.786 right now, I think, or right at. Usually not a bad time to buy. Buy zone, buy zone. That didn't work out. I mean, this one, gosh, I crushed this one, but this is where it flipped. What became resistance, right? Had the right level marked. Just turned it into a resistance, unfortunately. Trying to get rid of this little green. There we go. Let's see. Yeah, this is, so I'd probably stay within this range right now if you're trying to trade it. Whether you're shorting or longing, just stay within this range. You got the 55 starting to work down aggressively, so obviously that's going to add to having a little bit more resistance. Once you pop through, though, when you get over this, the top side here, which is at about 76 or so, and then if you get over the 55 SMA, a nice little push up to at least the value area low or the POC, well within reason. Moving up to where you have this volume at, right? Which makes a lot of sense. Actually, I'm going to extend this a little bit. Dude, that is a PO3 if I've seen one. So Geo talks about these a lot, the PO3 concept. Basically accumulation, manipulation, distribution. I mean, it's almost textbook. But yeah, up to the POC with this high volume. So let's measure that. 7%. So I mean, right where you're at. The way I would kind of look at Sol right now is if we're going to hold here, a push up to this horizontal level, and then I would break it up. So that's about 10%. And then I would, personally, I would exit, right? Because I want to round trip it. But then, you know, if we break back up to above, 78 or so, then I would be looking for that move back up to the high volume node where the POC is. And that's, like I said, I think another 8%, 7%. And I would just break it up. To me, that's a conservative play. That way it kind of keeps you from round tripping things. It's the way I would look at it. But 100, that's your psychological area. That's your quarterly pivot. Yeah, I mean, that's where you got probably one of the clearer horizontals on the chart right there, right? But you break 100, you're going to 120. Pretty close to 120, maybe 117, 118. And that'll get you over the 200 on the daily. Yeah, so I would really be looking at that. That would be something that would really interest me. I don't know if you're going to see that anytime soon. My expectation would probably be a little bit closer to Q3. But I mean, I love looking at this volume right here, right? So that gives you a lot of freedom of movement there. So again, if you get over 100, I mean, you'll probably get a little something like that. But I think you'll get a pretty aggressive move up. Maybe not that high, but like I said, about 118 would make sense. 117, 118. And this right here was the area that Solana just respected over and over again during the cycle. So if you're looking at it, look at how many times it interacted with this level right here. So I'm gonna leave that arrow up. That arrow is definitely means something. I'll take that off. But that's, for me, definitely, that would be where the fun ends. And then you just kind of, you just take your base hits. Take a base hit up, cash out, take a base hit up, cash out, take a base hit up, cash out. Problem with that, short-term, long-term capital gains. That's the problem. But if you're willing to accept that, then, you understand. BTC is moving. Of course it is, because I'm not looking at it. Down? Yeah, down, probably. Yep. That's funny. We had a little short in, and then I got too aggressive with the stop. We got stopped out, and then. But I like this area right here, right in the platinum pocket with the high volume around 62.6. I could see a little bounce out of that area. Tried it up to the next little high volume node. You would obviously have to use a little leverage there, but I mean, really, I'd say, like, because of the trend right now, just right here, I mean, bias is probably still a little bit more towards shorts. But, what's that? That's not even worth your time, is it? Nope. That's not worth it. But I mean, right here, just retesting this horizontal. Like I said, I would like to see it come back just a little bit more. Down to this area, and then do we have any passive orders? 60, 62 even. Not quite there. 62 even, 62 even. That's all the way down here. No, yeah, that's, I mean, again, this is the hard thing about right now is, like, it's like being in no man's land, right? We just, like, look at this. It's just dark. Nobody's playing right now. It's just dark. There's no fun until 62K, and then what's the top side? Anything? Nada. You got a little bit right here, almost 68, but there's Nothing. Dark. TradeFly not reading the chat. What did you say? What? What? I love the thumbnail. Thank you. I appreciate it. I'm not reading that, but it's funny username. All right, what I miss? Just put it in the chat. I really think you should have in your description an explanation of all these analogies you speak of. Talking to me? Tourist information. He's in the zone. Another scout for BTC? Nah, I don't think right now, man. Honestly. Like I said, right like down here where you have some, at least you have some orders. I'd be more interested in that. Like you might be able to pull a scalp. Let's go down to the 3 minute. Like you might be able to pull something right here, right? And that's just because of some of the technicals. You got an order block, you got the bottom of the platinum pocket, you got a high volume node right there at about 62.6. And then you're staying within the structure, right? You're just looking at, see, just kind of looking at that. But again, that's not a big move. That's only $100. That's $100 spread. So like you're using massive leverage. I just don't know if it's worth it. I don't know if the juice is worth the squeeze. He doesn't have the balls to read it. So what did I miss? You guys still didn't you didn't tell me what I missed. Should I buy or should I sell? If I buy, there could be trouble. If I stay, it could be trouble. What? I guess trouble all the way around, Andrea. I don't know. Are you talking about injective? I don't know, there's nothing clear for me right now. I mean, like, the clearest thing we have right now is this horizontal and where the platinum pocket is with a high volume node. In terms of technicals, the thing that I don't like, right? Like if you were purely looking at the chart, you're not taking into consideration order flow. That's probably one of the better things on the chart. But the problem for me, right? Like look at this range, equidistant, pretty much, right? So calling this a breakout retest, you know, might be a little bit of a stretch. You know, it could just be forming a new range there. But look at this trend. All right, so you got this trend line, and it's very clear lower highs, lower lows, pushing down into that. Yeah, I understand a breakout retest, but it's like, you know, why would I take a long straight into it? Like you might as well just let it break. So there's that. So like I said, if you were to take this, you have to stay within the structure. You got a $100 move on the table. I don't know that it's worth it. Now, what it is, we'll say could be a scalp. We're not there yet though. This is where I would mark. Is it Husan? Is that how you pronounce your name? I just want to make sure that I'm saying it right. I would mark this on your chart. And that's what I did in the beginning of the show, is about 62.2. I marked that. Why? Because I want to alert when we come down to test this level right here, right? So you got passive orders on the books. You can see how they're laddered in. So for me, that's where I'm going to be looking. And again, I think I've seen you on here before. So, you know, one of the areas or one of the things that I'll be looking at, you know, for confirmation is open interest and CBD. All right, so right now open interest is kind of working its way down. Not too surprising. You are likely to see that, especially if you're kind of trending down and you're meeting a level, a key level. You may see it start to trend down a bit. But what we would like to see, what I drew earlier, but if you guys were watching, you get to watch again. I'll keep it quick, but you're going to see CBD working its way up, and you're going to see open interest working its way up as it interacts with this level right here. Now, obviously, I'm on the daily right now, so you're going to be at a lower time frame. I'm typically somewhere around like 5 minutes, but you want to see, did it just disappear because I switched time frames? But anyways, you'll want to see CBD trending up, open interest trending up as it interacts with this level down here at about 62. You see that? Could be an opportunity. Again, I wouldn't, try not to fight the structure. So you'd have to go back out, kind of look at what you got going on. Look at this trend line here. Are you going to be fighting that? You're not even going to make it to that. If you go all the way down to 62, you're probably going to look at the volume there. So where you got this high volume node. But again, just staying within the structure, right? So you would extrapolate, you bring that out. So obviously not knowing where that's going to be relative to when the price works its way up, I'm not gonna want to fight this at any point. So understanding where that's at relative to the high volume node, some of your price action. This was resistance before. It'll likely be resistance again. How solid does 62.6 look? That's kind of just what I was just talking about. I mean, from a technical perspective, 62.6 looks pretty good. And like you would feel much better. Like let's say you get into 62.6, right? Let's just say you don't let it, talk to you at all. You just get in at 62.6. You're gonna straight into this trend line, right? That's what you're gonna run into right away. So if it breaks, like it's possible. Like there's different ways to skin the cat, right? Like you could get into 62.6. You could just have a tight stop and play the game that way, hoping that it breaks, or you let it break, right? Like so you come down. Let's say if it comes down, works its way down, and then you get in. You could get in right here if you want it, just understanding that you're straight into two things. See that? And that. So you have the bottom right here, support. You got the trend line right here. So you're literally trading right into resistance. Not that far away, you got the high volume node. So again, probably some resistance. What I would probably look for, like if I was cornered and like you're saying you got to trade, right? Like I've been on game shows where I have to trade. You don't have a choice. Then I'm probably going to wait for something like that comes down and then look for that move up. That would be the more conservative play right there. That breakout retest, looking for continuation. That would also give, CBD the opportunity, you can look here and be like, okay, cool. What is open interest in CBD doing? You can evaluate that. Use a flip. Remove to tools. Let's delete the brush. All right. Yeah, you look at open interest in CBD. You don't want to see those kind of trend into the upside as well. So just looking. And what this is telling you is just that the market is agreeing with your bias, right? You get more market participation. If CBD is going up, then you have a bias towards long, or longs are more aggressive. And so that would just kind of like fit your bias. Get rid of all that stuff. Oh, looks like it's moving now. Try to get rid of all this. What's the bullish breakout for BTC? In terms of what, like what time frame are you looking? Just like I just gave you a bullish breakout, 3 minute, 5 minute. You know, are you looking at higher time frame? So for me on the 4 hour, I would like to get above the high volume node and the value area high, the 55 SMA, get outside of this trend line. Like really, you know, I'm looking to get over 64.2. I'm not necessarily saying, hey, this is going to be a breakout per se, but getting all of this underneath of you, you know, what's resistant over top of you right now would make me feel a lot better. Understanding that you have this order block sitting right over your head. You got the 200 SMA on the 4 hour working its way down. But yeah, getting over about 64.2 or so, you know, at least would make me feel better, right? Get up here, kind of establish a range. I wouldn't be upset about that. But 200 SMA kind of working its way down. We don't have a lot of like bullish momentum right now, to be honest with you. Unfortunately. The true case of getting more bullish is to establish this range. Yeah, long ways to go for that. That flips the narrative. And I don't know that we're going to see that. Not anytime soon. Again, I'm still kind of banking on Q3 where looks like we're trending in that direction. Set a cup and handle forming on the 1 and the 5 minute. I don't really do cup and handles, but we'll look. Not really my game. We will look. What do you got? You said 1 minute and 5 minute? Let's look at 5. We'll look at 3. Split the difference, bro. So I don't know at what point that's invalidated, right? Because you have a equidistant move between the low and the mid and the high here. So, I mean, I guess, like I said, it's not really my thing. But looks like one. I don't know all the technicals of how far, you know, it can travel to the upside and then the Fibonacci retracement level of pulling back. I think it's somewhere, I want to say like the 0.382 to 0.5, but not so much something I typically trade. I look at it a little bit different, right? I look at the horizontal. So it's a similar concept, but not quite the same. And I'll kind of walk you through that. So I'm looking at the price action. All right, you see the price action, right? Pretty clear. So we've kind of developed a horizontal right there. Pretty close, right? So you've developed a horizontal where you're seeing price action is respecting a level. All right, so both resistance and support. Pushes up, comes down, comes back down to the 0.5 Fibonacci retracement level. That's a good one, right? And not in my eyes, like, when it aligns with a horizontal, not a bad spot. Like I said, I would have liked to see it push just a little bit further down, because I like using kind of the high volume nodes, because I know that there's already volume there, right? There's already been, buying and selling in those areas, right? It's kind of a confirmation for me. So you got a high volume node and you have the order block that's kind of sitting there. So we kind of talked about that a little bit at about 62.6. I did like that area a little bit better. It looks like, a nice, decent bounce trying to break out of this trend line right here, but that's kind of how I look at it. But what I look at as a confirmation for this is, like, it's the same thing with bull flags and bear flags. If you look at the statistics of a bull flag and a bear flag, you're going to find out that they're really not that helpful, to be honest. And that's if you look up the real statistics. If you look at ChatGPT, it's going to give you all kinds of funky stuff because it pulls it from websites that have posted it, right? So it's not necessarily factual. So when you look into those statistically, it's like 50-50. So what I like to do is I look at order flow in the order book. And that's really my validation of, like, okay, what's the probability of that playing out, once we get to that area of support, resistance, whatever the case may be, within the context of that, that pattern, right? So, like, I'll look at the bull flag, I'll look at the bear flags, but when I'm looking at them, I start looking at order flow as a validation of, do I think that that's actually going to play out? And I have a higher, probability or statistical, I don't know. They're more likely to play out, like, if you have the market agreeing with your bias. So what do I mean by that? If you're looking at a bull flag, so we can kind of draw this out a little bit. I don't know how well this is going to work because the paintbrush is janky on here, but we'll do our best. So let's say you have a bull pennant, right? Price pushes up, forms this little pennant. Cool. People get all excited. They love their patterns. Great. But what you really want to see as a validation, like the edge, the statistical edge to give yourself, is when this is happening, right? Your price is all kind of bouncing around in here, doing whatever it does. You're going to look at open interest and you're going to look at CBD. You can also look at your DOM as well. But again, it's the same thing you're going to hear me preach a lot, is you come down here, and when you have, let's say you're getting down to the bottom of your pennant or your flag, whatever the case may be, and you see this open interest start to go up, what that's telling you is that there's market participants, right? There's more market participants coming in. And are they aggressive towards longs or are they aggressive towards shorts? And that's kind of what CBD is telling you. So if you see more market participation coming in as you're sitting in this pennant, and then you see CBD going up, right? That means that longs are more aggressive and there's more market participation. So that means that fresh longs are coming in. Now you've taken this bull flag and you're making money with it, because you have confluence in terms of the market, the people that are actually putting money into the market is agreeing with you. It gets even better because sometimes you're going to actually see passive orders. What does that look like? Passive orders looks like this. So when you're looking at this and you see these passive orders, sometimes you'll see those stack underneath of a bull flag. That's the sauce. When you can get something like that with your patterns, that's when you get bullish. Like right now, like I'm messing around, I'm having fun, I'm throwing $10 around just because whatever. But if we were down here, you guys would be seeing a way different TradeFly. Like if we were down here, we were messing with this, and like I am really getting in tune with what the market is saying. I'm looking at the DOM, I'm looking at market orders, I'm looking at limit orders, I'm looking at passive orders, because I'm really ready to put real capital into the game. Right now, there's just, it's no man's land for me. Yeah, like if you wanted to play the technicals, right? Understand that you don't have a lot of market participation right now. There's not a lot going on. There's not a lot of volume. Okay, so there's not a lot of volume right now. Then you're just looking at the technicals, and you can those work sometimes. They probably work a lot of times. Because you have the psychology aspect of the market, right? Like people know that, hey, this was the high, it came down, retested the high, enter. That's what a lot of people do, right? And there's not a lot of liquidity on the table to take off. So it's okay. It's where it gets scary when you got a lot of liquidity on the table, right? And that hasn't been taken yet. So like if you have liquidity sitting underneath of this level, right? If you were able to go to like the liquidation heat map or something and you saw liquidity sitting underneath of this horizontal, that would be like nosy gozies, don't do that. But right now, there's just not a lot going on. It's dead. You're not seeing much. So, it's fine. But again, patterns, grain of salt. Honestly, grain of salt. Like, yeah, I'll look at them because I know psychology of the market. Like, people are looking at those. And, it's technically a bullish pattern, but then I need to see, I have to have confirmation. It's not just seeing the pattern. That's a silly game to play, because if you were to look at a bull flag, and you saw, this is what order flow is telling you. If you saw that open interest was going up, okay, you're like, oh, is that a good thing? Not necessarily. That's the nuance of open interest. So if you're looking at a bull flag and open interest is going up, what is CVD doing? What is CVD telling you? Because that could tell you a lot. And if market participation is going up and that market participation is showing you that shorts are more aggressive, are you likely to take a long position from that bull flag? Or could you possibly be overbought? So that's kind of the things that you start thinking about. Have people been liquidated and pushed out of their positions? And that's why I like to look at the liquidity, and I look at the liquidation heat map, because you could have a bull pennant and it pushes up and a ton of people get liquidated. And then there's once they're pushed out of their positions, what's the incentive to continue to drive the price in that direction? Because a lot of times the jobs of the market maker, it's a real thing, by the way. Like, it's a job, just so you know. It's literally someone's job. They're gonna try to push that price action towards the liquidity, right? Because they want that liquidity. How are the exchanges gonna make money? Well, if they can liquidate people and they can take them out of the equation, they're gonna make money. So that's something that like you have to think about with these patterns, right? Like, if you've already had a substantial push in one direction or the other, that's something that you need to think about in terms of, do you want to be part of that party? Like, do you want to be part of the liquidity? Or, do you want to enter where those people have already been pushed out? Now, again, the edge is finding out, like, once we get to those levels, is which way is the market driving. And that's why I like to use the order book and order flow, because that gives me an idea if we can see a continuation or if we're likely to see, resistance or rejection from that level. That's the kind of things that you can start pulling from the order book. And that's why I tie that in with the liquidation heat map and with trading view. Like, I could probably, like, realistically not have trading view and still be able to trade just fine. Like, it's nice because trading view is nice because it has the nice drawing tools. It's got the indicators. It's useful in marking up the charts, because these order flows, like these books, terrible user interface. They look like, this one looks nice. Kayataka looks nicer than Market Monkey Terminal. Market Monkey Terminal is probably a little bit better, but Kayataka is just cleaner. Right. And when I'm trying to articulate things on a screen to people on YouTube, I just use the one that looks better, because it's got most of the information that I need in a presentable way. But I don't know, man. That's kind of my spill on that. Take it for what it's worth. I mean, you do your own thing. But Curb Star. All right, brother. Take it easy. Have fun. Yeah, man. No problem at all. No problem. That's what I'm here for. So, and I could be a dum-dum. I could be. Say I've done pretty decent trading though this year. I'm up 280%. I was at like 300 something and I got my ass beat. But yeah, I'm up like 280% this year. You know, and being conservative. Most of my trades range, you know, in terms of profit, I'd say 300 to a couple thousand. Pretty conservative in terms of the trades. And this is pretty much how I've been doing it. You know, I'll find these key levels. I typically use TradingView to find key levels and, you know, kind of chart it out a little bit. But really, pretty much the first thing that I look at, and a lot of people, you know, I won't say a lot of people disagree, but some people disagree. I like looking at the liquidation heat map. It's just a nice, friendly thing to cage you in on where some of this liquidity is sitting. And when you have an overlap between the liquidations and the passive orders, then that's a spot you should pay attention to because you're likely to get some price action. And it's just a matter of like seeing how it interacts with that level. So that's kind of the beauty of this. Like you can look and be like, you know what? All right, cool. I got a key level right here. And it would be really, really easy to say, okay, I should look for a long here at this hotspot. But what happens when you see an impulse move through the zone, right? Like you get a quick move, right? A big candle that kind of goes to that zone. Well, then you don't take it, right? Like there's nothing that indicated to you that there's going to be a bounce here. And then you come over and you start looking at the order book, and like you can see how it kind of just blows right through, right? And then these volume bubbles, these are telling you, hey, the delta is more geared towards selling. Same here, selling. This is all selling volume, right? So this is validating that, like, hey, like, stay away. And then if you look at, it's kind of like go back, right? Open interest, kind of just going horizontal. Doesn't mean, you know, necessarily much, right? The market's just trying to figure out, like the participants are getting pushed out. Some are coming in, some are going aggressive short, some are exiting, taking profits, you know, so that's why you're seeing this kind of volatility in open interest. But what do you see with CBD? CBD showed you a very clear picture, right? On the 1 minute right here, it was down. It's trending down. So, you know, that for me is like, okay, cool. Like I'm not really looking to take a long in that area, understanding that these shorts are more aggressive. But then you get something like this where you get passive orders. Passive orders start coming on the books, right? And so that's when you kind of start looking for, is there an opportunity for a reversal? And this one right here is one to key in on. So there's a lot that look similar, but this one right here is one you could key in on. Benefit of hindsight, get to look back at it. But you're looking at this one here and you're seeing this big volume bubble, but you're like, hey, that's selling. Yes, it is, but you had passive orders, right? So what was happening is they tried to push the market down, right? You had this big bubble come in, this, you know, a lot of selling pressure, right? A lot of market sells. And what happened? They weren't able to push through. So you had these limit orders that were holding up the price action. That's usually bullish. Now, yeah, it did come back down and retest, but like ultimately it didn't really push too far through the zone. And if you zoom out just a little bit, what do you see with CBD? So price is actually going up. CBD is actually going up. Open interest at that time. Let's see. Yeah, the little, all right, so they came out and then went horizontal. Once you got the trifecta there, right here. So you'll hear me talk about the trifecta. Well, that's banana land. I just do not like the interface on these. There you go. Stupid. Okay. So price action going up, CVD starting to go up, open interest going up. This is on the minute. All right. So obviously it's got to be quick, right? Those three things started going up after you saw absorption, right? So what does that mean? The limit orders, the orders were absorbing all of the sell pressure, right? So that was a very good indication that you could see in this one in particular, there was an opportunity for a long, scalp long. And then what happened? You ran into some passive orders up here, and that was all she wrote. Back to zooming out. This is where you kind of can't get soda strawed, right? Zoom out, look at the trend. Okay, we accept that the trend right now is down, and you try to keep it within the structure of the move. That's a lot of what I like to do. So it's a patient game that I play, but none of it has really anything to do with patterns. I don't really trade patterns. I think it's possible to go up to 67,000 this weekend. Anything's possible. Yeah, dude, low volume. I mean, it can move. It can move because you don't have a lot of volume. So there's a lot of people that don't trade on the weekends because of that. But 67 from here. I don't know, man. 67. Yeah, that's feasible. Yeah. You're just talking about revisiting the top of that range. That's feasible. I don't know that I necessarily bank on it. Like I said, what I would do personally, if you're trying to follow me a little bit, is I would look at two levels mainly. One is down here at 62. I'd mark that on your chart, and then the other one would be down here. Sorry, 62.1. Really 62. I thought we were just talking about the 0.786 earlier, but just you know, I may have switched. I may have been on BitUnix and now I'm on Coinbase. Let me go back. Let me look at BitUnix real quick. Yeah, I mean, keep an eye really on. Now it looks like the volume really has rose. I mean, because you got that bounce there, 62.6. You got that high volume node with the horizontal kind of aligning. Yeah, just keep an eye on that again. I don't know that I really necessarily like hitting it on the third go. Let me see. It's at 67. Looking at the 3 minute. Let's get rid of that. Yeah, 67, I mean, is definitely in play. That's where you have the previous POC high volume node. just where are you going to get in? That's the question. I mean, usually the 0.786, where we had some volume. Not a bad spot. Trend Reaper flash there as well. Was I sleeping on that? I might have been sleeping on that, huh? I think I might have talked about it, but I might have kind of got soda strawed on the 3 minute there. Yeah. Only problem being is you run right into a little bit of resistance, but quick little move right here, I think. Once you get over the weekly. This may not be a bad spot to look for a move here. Right over the weekly. Up to this high volume. See that gap there? What would that be? About 3% move. Throw a little leverage on that thing. Yeah, I'd probably front run it. I know you were saying 67. Personally, I'd probably front run it. Just a little bit. A little bit closer to 66. 65.7. I don't like to take it to like all the way to the top and sweep the highs and bank on that. I'd probably front run it. But that's just me. Cool. Word. I think I'm gonna get out of here. I appreciate you guys for hanging out with me. I'm gonna go play some soccer now. Get a little exercise, touch some grass, you know, do those things. Go see the kiddos. Hope everyone is having a great day or has a great day. Again, thank you guys for being here. Much, much love. Much appreciated. You guys are the absolute best. That being said, I will see you guys again next Tuesday. That is the plan. I don't know. We'll see. If the market moves and maybe we hit down near the levels we were talking about 62, yeah, about 62K. Maybe I'll jump back on, go live if I'm going to take a long. We'll see. But with that, I'm going to get out of here. You guys have a good one. Much love to you. As always, trade safe. Be safe. I'm out.
When you feel low, you can still go. Even when you feel slow, you can still go. Even when there's no hope, you can still go. I never answer to no, man, I still go. Go, 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 yo, go, go, go. Hustle hard, hustle every single day. I'll be making moves till I'm buried in my grave. To the system, I don't wanna be a slave. I've been doing shit my way, or the highway. And in the driveway is a nice range. Cause I grind through the climb, I invite pain. You'll never hear me, bitch, nah, I don't complain. Just gotta flip the switch and you can go and obtain anything you want, anything you need. Your mind's got the key ingredient, it's belief. They'll deceive with the negativity, but I just slide right by that energy. Even when you feel low, you can still go. Even when you feel slow, you can still go. Even when there's no hope, you can still go. I never answer to no, man, I still go. Go, 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 go. You got a mind, but even that could change. You could flip the gray matter like some batter in your brain. That's why I say, fake it till you make it A. And if you play that game, then you just might make a change. Rearrange all the bad to okay. Take the worst thoughts saying, turn them to a game. Take the best thoughts saying, put them on display. On repeat in your brain till you're feeling no more pain. Never slow yourself down, you can do some more. Push past all the pain and you'll find a door. Open it up and finally explore everything that